Hi, welcome to this channel on magnetic energy technology principles applications. This video is about magnetic energy and chemtrails, and a lot of times I give these overemphasized, editorialized opinions about areas of science and what has been going on in the world from the magnetic energy point of view, and I have a bit of an extreme reaction. And I'm doing that partly because I want to try to show how those actions and those human decisions and those things would fit into the magnetic energy model and how much they are opposed to it. So, chemtrails is a great example of that. And so, from the magnetic energy model point of view, in my opinion, this is just my opinion on this, because this is an etheric magnetic model of the universe. Chemtrails are beyond insane. They are beyond idiotic. So let's just make that clear. From a magnetic energy point of view, all chemistry, all chemical reactions, and really all matter for that matter, are the result of subatomic magnetic etheric interactions, pulse rates, and vortices of energy that are either compressed, like with magnetic energy pressure, or configured from an etheric level, and even from what some people might call an interdimensional level, but it would be a magnetic resonance level that transfers from dimension to dimension, and that so there's a lot of reactions that take place at that super tiny level, and that results in what we would call chemistry or chemical, the manifestation of chemicals, the manifestation of energy fields, manifestation of chemistry, everything. And so, no matter what the agenda is on chemtrails, and it's been going on for decades, no matter what the agenda is, from the magnetic energy model point of view, there's absolutely no justification for it, and it's beyond idiotic because the top secret labs around the world have magnetic technology that would do everything that they're doing and so much better. So no matter what their agenda is. And so I just want to make that clear. It is interesting, and now when I talk about chemtrails, I'm talking about like if you have high definition, super high resolution cameras that photograph these things or film them. These are typically they are military aircraft that are releasing chemicals into the atmosphere. And the fun thing is, if you've ever done this and you've ever either filmed them or watched them and watch them fly back and forth and back and forth, and then they crisscross, and they'll start the pattern, and then they'll turn around, they'll do another pattern, then they'll turn around, do another, and then they'll crisscross it, and how they just go on with this. And this is a worldwide operation. So we are talking about a tremendous amount of taxpayer dollars that go into this operation that there is absolutely no answer for. Like they refuse Freedom of Information Act requests are get denied on it, or get that's not really happening, or we're not going to answer that. And there's just people have protested it. There's been a chemical analysis of stuff that's come onto the ground, everything. So, I mean, we've got just loads and loads of physical evidence, and yet the denial persists, which is just insane. But then the operation persists. Like, it's even been kind of ramped up recently, which is really bizarre. And so this, whatever you want to call it, a dark global agenda, and we'll come back to that in a moment. But when you just think about the magnitude of this operation and how long it's been going on and what the effects could be, or what their intentions are, they could have a whole list of intentions, everything from chemical warfare weapons to biologicals to weather control to trying to mend the ozone layer, and there's a whole list of things that they could possibly be doing. And I just want to make sure that people understand that this is much different than contrails. That would be like a normal commercial airliner and the exhaust that they leave behind. This is really a lot different than that. And it's interesting because major media outlets, especially any major media outlets that access satellite weather technology and have high definition cameras and every high resolution cameras, they know about these operations. They track them on satellite, they track them through weather systems and everything, but they won't touch it. And I've had personal arguments with them about this. They won't touch it because it's a military operation and they can't touch it. And so it's just interesting. It just goes on right above our heads, right under our noses, if you will. And the majority of people probably don't believe it's real or don't even know what's going on. And it's literally worldwide. It's where people live. It's where people don't live. It's over empty oceans, and then it's over heavily populated areas. It's totally bizarre, and it's been going on for decades. And it's a massive operation, and it's beyond insane, especially from a magnetic energy point of view. And so I can't even get into details of how you could use neutral pulsing magnetic energy fields to do whatever they're doing, whatever the agenda is, much more effectively, because that would be really high, putting myself in risk. And so all I want to do is come back to this and say this is a great example of when we are doing meditating, or we are looking forward to a better future, or we are trying to view the world in our heart space, or we are trying to do some white light magic like I talked about in a previous video. This is one of those great topics where it's really like, hey, if you ever get a chance and you're meditating and you feel guided toward this way, put a lot of white light and a lot of love and a lot of shielding, if you want to call it that, around every single individual or entity that's behind this chemtrail operation. Put white light around all the equipment, all the airplanes, all the companies that are doing the manufacturing, the chemicals and everything, and in the sense that we want to try to put them on the best path toward the highest level of consciousness they can be on relative to their current paths, and awakening their consciousness, awakening their heart energy to have more compassion for the planet, more compassion for humanity, and along with that, put a calling out there to higher beings, beings of light, angelic beings if you want. And if you do it in prayer form, that's great, but to give thanks, put a request out there and then give thanks for higher dimensional assistance to stop this operation, or to halt this operation, or to at least quell it if that's even acceptable. Now, here's the interesting thing about that, I think, from this point of view, is the military and governments and these top secret organizations and all that, it kind of seems like they think they have control over the planet. Like this is their planet and they own it and they can just do whatever the hell they want to do with it, which is completely absurd. Humans, at least from this model point of view, because it's such an interdimensional model, it involves so many higher level beings and neighbors, galactic neighbors, and the impact and our interconnectivity at a quantum level with beings from other systems and everything, that humans, if you want to put it into a relevant analogy with today's society, we are like tenants on this planet, and we have some extremely tolerant and gracious landlords that have been putting up with our shit for a very long time, and in terms of polluting the planet, and they are really putting up with our crap, and we are pushing the envelope, the boundary so hard right now, and this all is coming to a halt. So another point of this video is, as we move into this transition, and as we move into a higher level of consciousness and into the earth transitions that are coming in the next few years, most likely, I want to say from this model's point of view and according to what we've been told, chemtrails are going to be a thing of the past and they will cease to exist. And it's funny because I don't know if how aware of this are you that you guys are, and I'm sure you are because the people that watch these videos are probably very in touch with alternative news and what goes on. But a lot of times UFOs are sighted around the chemtrails and around the planes that are doing it, and they're either following it, and they're monitoring it, and you'll see this whole idea that the people that are actually really kind of the stewards or landlords of this planet take it seriously in terms of cleanup, and they may be very tolerant of what humans do, but at the same time they have ongoing cleaning up of our mess, ongoing changing of what's happening in the atmosphere and the oceans and in the magnetic fields, especially in the energetic fields around the planet. Continuous monitoring, continuous altering, continuous cleaning up of our mess, our ongoing messes. And it's funny because then you get these scientists and these chemical engineers in the military, and they just authorize the spraying of 1 million gallons of stuff over North America or wherever it is, over Europe, and then they go back out there a few days later for an analysis, and it's like 99% gone, and they're like, inconceivable, how could that possibly be gone? And it's like, and then they know and they see a lot of times these UFOs up there just whipping shit around and like cleaning up their mess and taking the time to help us. Now I know a lot of people have been affected by this, so it's not like 100% thing, and there's this tolerance of humans are allowed to screw things up to a certain degree. But after that certain degree, then it becomes unacceptable. And as we move into this transition, it will be stopped 100%. And so, with that, I hope that gives you a little bit of hope into the future, but it's also a great idea to do with meditating and bringing in our light and bringing in this and keeping them on course and asking for assistance, because we need lots of assistance on this planet right now. At least it sure feels that way. And so always staying open to that and that heart guidance and that heart love, and try to, even when we see this stuff, still try to resonate that vibration of love around the world, because that's really going to be the answer to almost all these problems, is having that higher that resonant frequency of love, that heart-centeredness. And even people that are responsible for these type of operations like chemtrails, they need some serious awakening, some serious heart awakening, and to recognize that what they're doing is beyond crazy, and that it's all going to have to stop. And with that, I will thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing, for sharing the videos. Please give a thumbs up. Comments are always welcome. I appreciate you all so much for being open enough to at least check these videos out and to give them a listen to. And thanks, and I'll see you next time.